What is the attitude of Theosophy to astrology? R S Mead's response to this question. Published in the Vahan in 1898. As the Vahan knows no one who has the authority to speak in the name of Theosophy, we will bring the question within the range of practical politics by rewording it as follows. What is the attitude of members of the Theosophical Society to astrology? And so we shall be dealing with facts of knowledge and not with opinions merely. The members of the society take up the most divergent and contradictory attitudes with regard to astrology. Some believe in it with various qualifications, a few even make of it a religion, as it were, some ridicule it as an absurd superstition, and proclaim the astrologer a charlatan. The majority are inclined to think there may be something in it, but are content to admit their ignorance of the art, and what is more, their indifference to it, even supposing there may be truth in it, being quite content to subscribe to the saying, "The wise man rules his stars, the fool obeys them," and so be quit of the whole business. Each member, then, has his own opinion, and if I give mine on the subject, the questioner should remember that it is mine and not the Society's, least of all Theosophy's. I must confess, then, that I never could get up much respect for modern astrology, in spite of the fact that sometimes extraordinarily accurate predictions are made by professed astrologers. I have never known astrology do any good to the character, and I have often known it do a great deal of harm. On the other hand, I know that some of our members are making an honest endeavor to turn the art to ethical service, and in that I wish them every success. But before any real good can be done, it will be necessary to make a searching enquiry into the genesis of astrology, and replace the traditional rule of thumb astrologisig by some more rational method. Hipparchus and his plagiarist Ptolemy, with the cheerful impudence of scholastic Alexandrians, Hellenized the real Chaldean art out of existence, and modern astrology is based on their misconceptions solely. Modern astrology is not the Chaldean art, it is the superstition of a Greek burlesque of the true science of the stars. In the distant past, when the Chaldean civilization was at its height, though under a different name, for that time was prehistoric, astrology was the religion of the race, and that astrology was, and is, one of the root rays of religion. But between this real science of the solar system and its inhabitants, and the modern caricature, there is as little connection as between the present-day conceptions of the death of Jesus and the real self-sacrifice of the Logos. But even before the days of Hipparchus the true science had fallen from its purity, and so we find the Buddha strictly forbidding his followers to dabble with the art. The direct disciples of the spiritual Christ also, among the early Gnostics, knew the true state of affairs, and so we find one of the writers in the Pistis Sophia treatise declaring that the astrologers were all at 6s and 7s, that it was only by chance that they hit on a correct prediction, for that as soon as a man's nature contacted the Christ spirit, there was a revolution in the spheres, and the motion of half of them was entirely inverted. Of this the ordinary astrologer knew nothing, and so his predictions were almost sure to be erroneous. This statement was based on a knowledge of the real Chaldee art, which had been so materialized by the Greeks, on a knowledge of what the planets really are, and how many there are, and how placed, in fact, of the entire economy of the whole system. This economy is entirely unknown to modern astrology, and it is wonderful that with such false premises it ever succeeds in getting even a single correct prediction from the few old rules of thumb which have been handed down from the genuine Chaldees. Modern astrology, then, requires to be purified, and ancient astrology to be rediscovered. But in this vulgar and huckstering age, when the income of the professional astrologer comes mostly from ignorant servant girls, or stock dealers, or bookmakers, what chance is there of purification? And until there is purification, what claim has mankind to rediscovery?